Welcome. Thank you for tuning back in to Listening Pleasure 757 Roundtable edition. This is the episode where we turn local real estate into the must-hear stories. Today we got some of your best agents, excuse me, from the Hampton Roads area breaking down everything from military moves, good bargains, maybe even give you some stories about wild house openings and everything else. So whether you're buying, selling, or you just assess with the market in this area, this is where you need to be. So hit play, share this with your friends as we get into this episode. Sorry for that. Don't get a little dry on the intro. Um, as y'all know, every time around this time, we have our co-host for the day, and let me make sure he on before I try to say he on here because he did have difficulties for a second. And no, he's not on. So we're gonna go. I'm gonna introduce our agents one at a time and let them give you a little introduction, how long they've been in the market or what they do. So without no particular order, welcome to the stage. First, we have Kevin. Y'all welcome Kevin to the stage.
What's going on? Kevin
What's
Moore.
going on, my man?
Not much, buddy. Pleasure to be here again. You know what I'm saying? Giving y'all this knowledge. My name is Kevin Moore. I've been in real estate for the last 4 years. Just looking to make sure that I help all my people get the properties that they want and give them the information that they may need or things that they don't know.
All right, appreciate you. Next to the stage, we have y'all welcome Yolanda. Y'all welcome Yolanda to the stage.
Hello, everyone. What's up, Rob?
What's going on?
Okay, I'm glad to be back again to discuss some resources and information that can help you if you are a buyer, first time buyer, third time buyer, whatever. I'm here to help you and provide the resources and valuable information that you would need to help you get that home that you want. So I've been in the business for 7 years. April 30th of this year made it 7 years. And I'm excited just to continue to be in the business and help others.
All right. Next up, uh-oh. I don't know what that is. All right, here we go. There we go. Next up, y'all welcome to the stage. Dom, y'all welcome DJ to the stage. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
All right,
there.
come
Okay,
on.
I'm here.
Let's try again. There you go. Yeah, all right.
How y'all doing? Dominic
Go ahead, my brother.
James.
My bad. Something came across my screen, some Trump ad, so you know that was crazy.
Got you. My name Dominic James. Um, yeah, here to help you guide you through the home buying process. Make sure that the language isn't so foreign. And to make the transaction as smooth as possible for you. I could like to call myself, and people at my brokerage laugh about it. I'm a real estate baby. I just got through my first year of real estate, so it's been an awesome journey, and I love it, and I'm here to help.
All right. Next up, welcome to the stage. We have Miss Angela. Y'all welcome Angela to the stage.
Hey, Angie.
Hello, I'm Angela. I've been in the business for about 3 years, development. I also teach real estate classes. I'm in the business to help people learn, educate them, help people buy houses, sell houses if they're interested in becoming an agent. I'm your go-to for everything real estate.
All righty. Y'all welcome up next. We have Brandon. Y'all welcome Brandon to the stage.
Good evening. Good evening.
What up,
What's
big
I'm
dog?
going
Brandon
on?
D. Good, brother. How you doing, Rob? Appreciate the invite.
No doubt.
Um, Brandon Diggs, Diggs by Diggs Real Estate. Been doing it about 9 years now. My focus is using real estate to invigorate communities. So I just take the leverage that I got from real estate to incorporate myself in all aspects of the community and just give it back.
Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. Next up, we have y'all welcome Tiffany to the stage.
Hey, everybody.
What's
I'm
going on, Tiff?
Tiffany. Hey, Tiffany with Holloway Experience Real Estate. I have been in the business. This is my fourth year in real estate. And I focus mainly on education. I do the Virginia Housing Home Buy class the first of each month. And of course, the goal is to be a resource and educate our people on home ownership, as well as most importantly, generational wealth.
All righty. Appreciate you for coming. And last but not least, my main man, y'all welcome Tiante to the stage.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is
All right.
Tiante Gray. I'm a mortgage lender. I'm not a realtor, so I do the lending part of the whole real estate transaction. I've been in the business about over a little bit over 5 years. I enjoy the lending part because a lot of people don't understand what it means and the numbers and how it works. So this is just a passion to be able to influence people's lives, help them get to that clear to close, and be able to build up the community.
Well, I just want to say thank you to all y'all for coming on because you could be doing something else. So I really appreciate that. Um, Mike, if you get back on, we'll try to get you on. If not, we're gonna keep on the rock. I ain't gonna hold these people up long. Um, Also, viewers, yeah, if y'all got y'all questions or whatever y'all want to ask, remember to put them in the comments. We'll try to get to them as we can. So I'm gonna just start off in Hampton Roads. We got a lot of the military. We got the beaches in Virginia Beach, and a lot of historic stuff in Williamsburg. So what's like one of the number one factors that's driving the real estate market right now?
Supply and demand.
I,
So
Great. Go ahead. Go ahead.
you if you were speaking in terms of like the buyers, I was thinking in my head immediately in the Hampton Roads, the military coming in and out really keeps the real estate market going around here.
so
Okay.
yeah, I expand
Anybody else?
on that's it for sure. And the fact that military is always coming and going, well, coming and staying now for the most part is what's creating our shortage of housing. As much as people come into our area, they don't leave, and the military having new people transplant to the area, with the fact that they aren't building homes at a rate that's keeping up with the demand, is causing our area to the prices to continue to increase. So I know a lot of people are worried about interest rates and what does it look like for them to wait. And I think that the big thing that we got to educate our people on is the longer you wait, the more you're going to pay. That misconception of like, oh, we're going to wait for rates to come down. Even when the rates come down, Deontay, you can attest to this. When the rates come down, we're going to see an even higher demand and a limited supply, which in turn is going to have higher prices. So the prices aren't going down anytime soon. And so yeah, that's what's keeping our market moving how it is, and it's going to continue to do so. If we look at a hyper local market like where we are right now, it's going to be different than most other places because of the stability that we have with the military and government entities. We're looking at just the infrastructure changing with the HRBT expansion, casinos, Amazon, all of this stuff is coming to our area, and we're asleep right now, thinking that it's going to change it is for the better if you get in the game. Because once you get in the game and you get that property, that's when you'll start to see appreciation on your end. So I know I said a whole bunch. Long story short, get with one of us and talk about your options. Even if it's just a dream, it's our job to serve as your guide and help map out that play for you.
Well said. Anybody else here want to say something about that?
Not only the military, I think it's more so the prices of rent right now. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of people are, having to pay, $2,200 for rent, and you don't have anything to go for once you get ready to move. You can't leverage that money. You don't have no money to leverage or anything like that. So you get no appreciation. You're basically pretty much paying somebody else's mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, that's good. Um, so I'm gonna go to this one question we got from a viewer real quick. Mm, I got a question, something like this, but we can mark it out. She asks, "What is the best way to buy land for a current homeowner?"
Mm.
What was that question again?
I
What's
put
the
it. I
best way
leave
to
it up
buy
there. I'm
land
sorry.
for a current
What's
home?
mm-hmm,
So basically, she's a current homeowner right now, and she's
Mm-hmm.
looking to buy
mm-hmm,
purchase land. Okay.
mm-hmm,
Um, I believe, of course, getting, you have to get some assessments done. Find out exactly what location of that land that you want to purchase it, from what location, what city, because a lot of cities have different, rules, regulations, and things of that nature when it comes to purchasing land. So my thing is doing the research, and of course, you can get with a realtor that can look into some information on where you can go to get more resources about that particular land. But it's best, of course, to find out where you want to purchase that land from.
Well, to add to that, and I would say it would probably be best to get with a lender, and maybe do a cash out refinance. I mean, that's an option. Of course, see what
Mm-hmm.
type of equity you have in your home, and you'll be able to, of course, do the cash out refinance. Use that money towards the purchase of the land, and of course, do your research on where you want to move to. Like Yolanda was saying, where you want to go, can you build on the land, whatever it is that you plan on doing. Of course, make sure you're doing your research first, and then making sure you can get that cash out refinance, or even a HELOC, any way that you can borrow from the equity, because you're already a homeowner, right? We talk about generational wealth and, the accessibility to money when you're making your own mortgage payments each month. So that would
And
be
make sure
my
it's
best option.
buildable too. Yeah, make sure it's a
Right.
buildable land too, because you
Do
can
your
build it
due
on some
diligence.
shaky land.
Absolutely. Right. That's what I meant when I was saying, the excess. Make sure you're truly doing your research, before you settle on what direction you want to go, as it
Hmm.
relates to where you want to purchase the land and how you want to use it.
Yeah,
Definitely,
yeah.
I agree with Tiffany. I was going to say the same thing. Look into pulling out some of your equity. That way, you could be cash ready and you could purchase the land. You could be more aggressive. You're not waiting on the loan to go through or trying to find a bank to give you a
Mhm.
personal loan. It's a lot easier when you already have your cash and reserves and understand what you want to do with this land. Do you want to do anything with this land? You just want to own the land just to have it. There's a lot of different things you want to consider before you just go out and try to buy land.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Absolutely. That
Also,
was a
land
good
is like
question, though. Really good question.
yeah. That was a really good question.
land is like pretty much start looking at the neighborhood as well. Look at what's built
Mhm.
around that land, so that way, if you just want to buy and
Mhm.
hold that land, and you know that they're developing that land and making it better, you might want to keep it there, so that way you'll be in the way of somebody needing that land, and you can actually flip your money that way as well.
That's a good one, Kevin.
yeah, it's good.
It's
It's
building generational wealth.
yeah,
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
starting off.
Hmm.
It's crazy. We was talking about some of this before, and I'm just looking through the questions. So I do have this. I did have this down. Um, we was talking about this before we went live. So the question I can't remember we asked the same way, but it was what three things should first time home buyers in Hampton Roads do before even looking at homes? I know we talked about three things they should have, but
Would
they say what three
definitely get with
things?
a lender, because like
Credit.
Tasha said, you need to know those numbers, and you need to know which part of the home buying process you're in, because you could be ready to go, or you may have some things you have to take care of to make sure that you're ready to go ahead and purchase. But talk to that lender and see where you at.
I definitely want to comment on this real quick. And I'm up to the notion of speaking with a lender first, of course. If you can't reach out to a lender, speak to a realtor, right? And what I will say, whoever you speak to first, have a realistic expectation of what you can afford, not what you want, but what you can afford. Because if you make $5,000 a month, you're not buying a $350,000 property. So speaking with a lender can help you understand your DTI, what you're looking at for payment, and realistically have an understanding of what you can afford.
And to piggyback
Also,
off that, oh, go ahead.
speaking
I'm
with
sorry.
the, sorry,
Also, speaking with the lender, if you're looking at properties, you have to take into consideration if there's an HOA. A lot of people don't realize that the HOA adds to what you can afford. So if you've been approved for a $300,000 home, but you have an HOA payment that's $300 a month, that may bring down whether you can
Mm-hmm.
afford that home or not.
Yeah.
Not only that, flood insurance as well. If you live in a flood
Yep.
zone.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I hope y'all taking notes. They getting to see y'all tonight fast and early.
Yeah. So what I was gonna say is something that we talk about in Virginia housing class is having a spending and saving plan. It kind of go off of what Deontay was talking about. We know how much, when you calculate what you're spending, when you have a rental, right? And you know that those numbers are going to change when you become a homeowner, because now you're talking about homeowners insurance. Some people have gas and other bills that they wouldn't necessarily have if they're living in a rental property. So you want to make sure that you're factoring all of that in when you're, preparing to purchase a home. You want to make sure that you're fully ready. And I don't know if I think Tiante said this, like you say, let's say you get qualified for 300,000, right? You're looking at 300,000 as your pre-approval, but is that really what you're
Want to
able
stay.
Mm-hmm.
to afford? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, the lender can tell you that you qualify for one thing, but what they're not factoring in is your gas and daycare and, other personal
Mm-hmm.
fees that you have going on.
Netflix.
So yeah, yeah. So before you even, before
Yep.
you jump out there and, want to go straight into
Mm-hmm.
home ownership and let's go look at houses, let's make sure the numbers make sense and we're being realistic.
Yeah.
Right. And,
And that's
and and
yeah. Oh, go
we
ahead.
about to just we about to get into this. We all been professional right now and everything. And I
Go
can't
ahead,
sit here and
T. Go
not be.
ahead, T.
So listen, people,
Mm-hmm.
we have to come up with realistic expectations. Again,
Mhm.
if you
Mhm.
make $5,000 a month, can you afford $1,800 a month going just for mortgage, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance on top of your car note, on top of your cell phone bill, top all that? So it may be a situation where you have to partner up with a family member, a friend, something, and you guys buy something together. Bro, we have to get back to in our community. Everybody on this thing look like my cousins. We have to get back to partnership family dynamic. The pricing is not going to change. Home ownership is not going to wait for us, but we have to have a realistic expectation. And you cannot. I'm looking at a person right now make 4,600 a month at 235,000 for a house. They're looking at almost 1,750 a month. Right, that's 235. So now you got to get with one of these beautiful relatives and one of these homeboy relatives right here, and you got to find something for 235, and you're not going to like it.
Yeah.
So we
Mm-mm.
have to get to partnership in our communities, and
Yep.
maybe you have a son, and you and your son can partner up and buy a property together. It may
Mm-hmm.
only may be for a little bit, it could be for a year, and then you get
Yeah.
an investment property. All right, I'm
Yeah.
stopped. I'm about to go too
Now
far.
I
No,
want to jump
no, you
in.
Nah, you right
good.
on the right
Now
path.
you good. I
Yes.
want to
Good.
jump in.
Yeah.
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 I
But
want to chime in
I
on that
believe I
too.
brought that up the last time we were, what Tiffany was talking about. I brought up about having a budget. A lot of people don't sit down, block out any time to really go over their expenses of what they're spending. They just add on a Netflix bill. I mean, they don't even look at their finances. And so
Mhm.
that is the most important thing is, like Tiffany said, you need to look at what you're spending and you're saving. A lot of people can't even are having a difficult time saving because they're spending so much. And then when they want to buy a house, they're gonna have a difficult it's gonna be difficult because you don't have
When they
much in
start
your
looking at that
savings.
DTI.
And they start looking at that DTI, they got this car, they got, all these other things that is in the way of their home ownership. But that doesn't mean it can't be a homeowner. They just really gonna have to sacrifice, remove some things. You not just have to, they need to. If you really want to be a homeowner, you need to get rid of some things that's if it's not a necessity, if it's not, if it's not for your health, it needs to go in order to prepare and be ready and get ready.
And also, it brings it full circle. If you go into it and buy a property with a family member, like you said, it can be only temporary, and then you pull the equity out that home, and you can buy another property, or you can buy a piece of land and you can build on
Mhm.
that. Then pull the equity out of that, and just keep going and going and going. But the problem is, you have to get started somewhere, and a lot of people are afraid of getting started. get started. Make the phone call. Call any one of us up here so we can help you get started.
And be transparent. Don't be,
Yep.
don't be scared. Don't try to, look a certain way, because social media, you may have portrayed a different, self on
I want
social media. That ain't our business. Our business is to
Yep.
help you.
yes, I want to hear Brandon
that's
your thoughts. You was about to
that's not our
say.
business.
I was waiting. I was waiting on him to finish to say Brandon was wanted to comment on that.
No, I think we touching on all the same things, but just to get back to the main question, and before you start anything, and I'm just gonna speak on how I do business because I look at myself as a guide in the process. Like we're all the guide, and since everybody has a different situation that may vary, maybe the credit's not right, maybe they don't understand, maybe they don't have the budget, everything in order right now. They have to sit down and talk with us. And it's our job to help unveil their story so that we can guide them on what they want. Because, yeah, maybe they do want that $400,000 house, but they can't get it today. But what does the process look like? And it's our job to structure that for them. Say, hey, maybe you got to start out with this 200,000. And like when we started up the conversation, hey, we know what appreciation looks like. We know what the market is going to do. We're tracking all of these things with the 3 to 5% annual appreciation. Maybe in 3 to 4 or 5 years, you'll be in a position. But if you don't take that step today, it's going to be increasingly difficult for you to get that $400,000 house. So I think we start out, the first thing to do is find one of us and sit down and have a real conversation about what it is your dream is, because I think a lot of our dreams have been, deferred because of our current realities, and we don't know what the first step looks like. So we are the first step, and before a lender, because Deontay is going to do what he does, but it's our job to guide them. They are the star of the show at the end of the day. A lot of agents get it misconstrued and think like it's about them, and it's not. It's about that client and how we can guide them to where they want to be. And we talk about building community. We got to be able to see each other and trust each other and have enough transparency amongst each other to where we believe that if I go to you, I'm going to get what I need. It may not be what I want to hear, but what I need to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So
All
you,
right,
Rob,
great
let's
stuff.
go.
Hey, listen, I'm listening, taking notes too. Listen, so somebody asks, what's one neighborhood in the Hampton Roads area that's secretly a gold mine for buyers? I forgot to put your name down. Who sent me that? Sorry.
It's a
That's
tricky
all of
question.
them.
Do you know?
It
Do you
It
know
is.
what
That's
secret
very
is all of
tricky.
agreement?
them.
That is
Wow.
definitely a trick question because
Wow.
it's all
My
of
Can
them.
I
husband says I
can I
can't
be
All of
say
them.
honest?
it. What's the goal?
I mean, a few years ago, I would have said downtown, right? When nobody wanted to purchase, nobody wanted to purchase down here. But now y'all see they start, tearing down
Mm-hmm.
and building up. So a few years ago, yeah, downtown Newport News, and I think people really don't want to have that conversation. That while they're working on it, the value down here is drastically increased. Over time. So a few years ago would
Yes.
have been a gold mine for buyers. And I believe that it still is because there's a lot of properties
Mm-hmm.
um, that you can get into with FHA, right? That could potentially pass FHA. You get into it, start putting your own stank on it, fix it up, tweak it up, and
Mm-hmm.
then, give it some time, let the equity grow, flip it, sell it, So that honestly, that would be my opinion. I would say probably still downtown news. Yeah.
And real quick, right?
Get in there now.
I want the
Yeah,
realtors to
and
answer
people
this
don't want to
question.
talk about it, but
Go ahead.
I
Go
mean, it's
ahead. See.
honest.
I
Go
do want
ahead,
the
see.
realtors to answer this question, but I'm just going to say to Tiffany's point, any of these areas, low income areas have historically been like that. You can do what we call a 203K loan, right? And now you can buy that
Hmm.
property that is at a lower cost and you can do your renovations to fix it up to how you like to have it and everything like that. It is a process, but you could buy a property for 150, put in 60,000 renovations. Now you have that equity, instant equity in this property, and you're
Mhm.
getting it at a lower cost. But y'all do your thing. What's the best neighborhood? I want to know too.
See, you wow.
The reality is the answer all depends on what the client wants. Like I said, it
Yeah.
goes back to that client speaking on what it is that they want and how we serve as the guide. If you have a 5-year plan, then I'm going to give you a different neighborhood. If you're like, hey, I want to be in a certain area where I can walk on the sidewalk, I'll give you a different neighborhood. So it all depends on what that buyer wants.
They want that gold mine.
There you go.
Everybody
They
value.
want
Some people
they want the
say
million.
it's a
They
gold
want the
They
mine.
$1 million
want,
house for a
and
quarter
I
million
agree
dollars.
with Tiffany. The gold mine truly in this area is downtown Newport News. I mean, the value is
Portsmouth.
constantly increasing, but right now is the time to, if you have the ability is to jump on it right now. You make, if you feel like, hey, I can't walk up the sidewalk right now, that's fine, because sooner or later it will be. You be walking, strolling, riding your bike, but
Mhm.
get
And
on
then
it
Yeah, and I'm
y'all,
now,
gonna throw this out
because
here too.
And,
time
Just
is
and,
of
get
da-
the
everybody.
essence, and that is the truth
and
for that
I'm gonna
area.
downtown
throw this.
Suffolk is another area that's building up just like
Oh yeah,
downtown Newport News.
yeah,
So
But I
yeah.
want
that's
I want to
another
throw this out
spot.
here
And
just to make
people,
sure that you all know as well. Like because we family, we're gonna share this information. But if you understand what the Navy's doing, they're building 2 carriers at one time right now. The Nimitz is also going to be coming from the West Coast, being in Newport News, and the Truman when it's about to come off a deployment in a couple of months. They just got extended, but there'll be 4 carriers in Newport News at one time, and they're going to be standing there for the next 4 or 5 years. So what we're going to see
They're
with
gonna be
all of
buying up
those
everything.
families is an influx of Navy families trying to get the properties in downtown Newport News because of
Uh-huh.
proximity to work. So
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
again, we talk about this play about how are we going to get our nugget. It's going to take people to get these properties now, and that supply and demand thing that we keep talking about, and looking at the 2-3 years
Mhm.
down the line, because they're going to have this convenience issue where they can't get to work, or they're going to have parking issues because they want to be in closer proximity to work. Now they're going to pay a premium to get
Uh-huh.
into one of these homes, and again, the gold mine of downtown Newport News. So when we're crafting these stories with our clients, I want us to be able to construct a story and help them to see this, because this is vision that they don't have. They don't do this every day. They just thinking, I want somewhere where I can rest my head. But it's our job to kind of like guide them, steer them on this road to generational wealth. And these are kind of nuggets that we kind of overlook, and we look back and think like, what the hell just happened? Right now, we got the game. We know what's about to happen, and we got to share this
Mhm.
so we can create these stories so that we can, one, retain possession of our hallowed grounds of downtown Newport News, and get what it's worth. Don't just give it up for chicken shit. Excuse me, chicken change.
No, you good. You good.
Respect.
Um,
Respect.
That's
and
all
this,
good.
and
Respect.
I just have
Yeah,
to go on this economic rant. Like Brandon is saying, like if you look at the GDP of Hampton Roads, it's $128 billion. There's no lack of money in this area, right? And we have to highlight
Mhm.
those things that we have in this area for people. The opportunities. They doing the transformation downtown. They doing the transformation in Portsmouth.
Mhm.
We are a rich and have been a rich area of prosperity and opportunities here. And we have
Mhm.
to really highlight that to clients. I do VA loans
Mhm.
too. Y'all just let me know.
I got a question coming up for that next too. But also, while we speaking on areas, man, I've been hearing about this off subject, but it's in my. Y'all heard anything about the Danville area booming like that right now?
They got a casino out there that they're building up. Well, I think it might be completed by now, but they
It's
do have a
it's open.
casino
It's
out
open.
there.
It's
Yeah,
open.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but I
So
heard
that's
the area's supposed to be booming. I had guys talk, but I know that's what's gonna drive it too.
but they got land. So builders are going there building because of the casino. It's economic development, and they got plenty of
Mhm.
land out there, and so they're gonna be building up.
Mm-hmm.
you got to look for infrastructure. What's
And,
going to bring jobs? Like
and
what's
I
the
was going
jobs like? So are there hospitals, colleges? What's keeping the economy thriving? The reason why we kind of live unbothered here is because of government installations,
Defense. Yep.
military, and that keeps our
Mhm.
economy flowing. That keeps the money flowing. So
Shipyard
when you
too.
look at like
Shipyard.
Yeah,
shipyard,
Shipyard.
that's
all government
yeah,
installations,
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
that's
all of those. But when
Yeah.
you see like let's use
And the
Detroit
truck,
for
the
example.
truck and the port industry is crazy here too. So
Yeah, all of that.
Mm. Mhm.
mhm.
So when
Mhm.
you look at Danville, so any area around the country, you think like what is keeping their economy going? Who lives there? What's the job force like? And if we can't make any connections, then they'll be looking like how Detroit was looking. I know Detroit's trying to make the rebound, but they saw some hard times when they start shutting down them plants and picking
Yeah,
up
because
Mm-hmm.
people.
listen,
Yeah.
because when I was going to Danville, all they had was tobacco and bricks. That's all they was known for back coming out of there.
And that's why you got to pay attention what's being built in these different areas. If you see all these different, businesses coming into the area and the houses are low, start buying.
Yeah.
Start buying because they're building up the area and you can get them cheap. Get them while they cheap.
Because
Because in
property
6
value gonna
months and
keep
a year,
increasing.
they go right on up, and you're gonna be like, "Man, I should have brought that land. Man, I should have brought that property."
Even if it's just an
Mm-hmm.
investment
Absolutely.
property, you got to play the buy and hold
Absolutely.
game.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I'm
You
saying?
got to
Buy
get
it and
something
hold
that's
it.
a
You know what
little
I mean? 'Cause
rundown, a little bit, build it up, like Tiana said,
yeah,
build it up.
sometimes you don't even have to do anything to it. You know what I'm saying? If you can get it for a low price, and like you said, hold on to it for 6 months to a year. If things are going around that house, you know what I mean, you might not have to do nothing to it, and you can sell it for $50,000 more than what you paid. You know what I mean, and didn't have to do nothing for it.
That's right. Yeah.
So Tiante, since you brought up the loan situation, is the question. So it say, I ain't write your name down either, but it say, what VA loan myths do even military families get wrong about buying here?
The biggest myth is they don't have to have anything out of pocket. So it's actually designed for no down payment. But I tell everybody in my speech, you are responsible for closing costs not paid by the seller. So that could mean a whole bunch of different things. That could be the seller's going to cover your closing costs. That could mean you get a higher interest rate and get some lender credits. But to come in and think you're not going to come out of pocket with anything is not always the case, right? With VA loan. And also, the biggest myth is you can get the VA loan technically with any credit score. So, what it is that if you go under a certain credit score, then you have to start putting a down payment down. It's going to be required for a lender to do it. It still won't allow you to get an approval with the underwriting system. So, there's a couple myths out there that you will definitely see all the time.
All right. Here was another viewer question. It say, how let me get it. Say, how rising insurance costs impact the waterfront property in this area?
I'm sorry. It said how said I'm sorry, say that again.
Rising insurance costs, how's it affecting the waterfront properties in this area? Well, I think insurance is rising all across the country, right?
Yeah.
So it's affecting
I,
everybody when you talk about their
no,
qualifications.
it say in this. It say in this. Let me read it. Let me open it up. I got it on page. Let me open. It say how are rising insurance costs impacting waterfront property value, or it didn't say this area values. Just waterfront property.
Then how is the insurance affecting the value?
Or their payment,
Yep. It
their
said
mortgage
how are
payment.
rising insurance costs. They asked it just like this. I read it. This is what they put. How are rising insurance costs impacting waterfront property values?
So I'm going to
Well,
assume that they're speaking of
Gotcha.
floods, or saying being by the water and having bad storms and things like that. But I mean, in this particular area, we don't really have too many bad storms that tear up anything for the most part. And if you're on the waterfront, 9 times out of 10, your house is elevated so that way it's not gonna be flooded in the first place. So we don't really have too many severe storms. We're getting them a little bit more now, but like you said, like Tiante said, insurance is rising all over the place for the simple fact that the economy is, is driving up. So the cost of wood, lumber, all of that stuff is up. So that's going to drive the cost of your insurance up anyway, because if something does happen to your house, they got to pay these extra premiums that they're asking for. And not only that, we haven't spoke about tariffs yet. So that's another thing that's driving everything up.
Excuse me. All right, so I'll go to this one. I say, let me read this clear. What's the number one reason pre-approved buyers still get rejected at closing here?
They go out and do something with their credit they ain't supposed to.
Going out buying a brand new car before
they
closing,
they
Brand
buy
new
the furniture
car. They
Maxing
before
out
they
buy
them
get
some
in the
credit
house.
furniture.
cards.
They excited.
furniture, credit cards.
Hey, I will say could it be, and correct me if I'm wrong, remember, I'm the baby of the market with y'all. So could it be that they're they're going with these financial institutions that aren't validating everything up front?
That could
Yeah,
be.
that
I
can
haven't.
happen. That
Yeah.
can happen. But it's also, to me, a realtor's job to continuously check in with that lender, even if it's the other side. Hey, are they still qualified? You gotta keep checking in and seeing what's going on. Are they doing their job? Because I
Yeah,
think that
and
can help save.
what I what I would say too is the thing about those big financial institutions,
Hmm.
sometimes you're not talking to the same person every single time.
Mhm.
And that's fine. Hey, can you open a file for such and such and see
This
what's
is my
going on?
segue
Can you
into
call
this is
them?
my segue into local lenders.
Yes, but you're right.
Um.
That's the
Yes,
importance. Local lender.
So
Yep.
Yeah.
because
Oh,
let me
go
put my
ahead.
spin on this real
Go
quick.
ahead, T.
So a lot of times, people are not getting a true pre-approval, right? They're not getting like pre-underwritten files. They're getting a pre-qualification. We just went off what you had on your application. So you go out there, you get on a contract, and as you get on a contract, now I'm trying to get you pre-approved, pre-underwritten, and sometimes it's too late. But the number one thing you'll see people is quitting jobs. You'll see people buying stuff, and but to DJ's point, a lot of lenders, especially bigger lenders, larger lenders, they're stamping and going. They're going to send you out that pre-approval quick for you can get on a contract, and then in good faith, hopefully all your stuff adds up.
Well, I
Go
Mhm.
ahead,
got a
Tiff.
I
story about
can't.
some like for. Oh, okay. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You can tell your story. I got it.
Okay, I'm gonna make it quick. Okay, it was
Go ahead.
I had a seller, and then the buyer was a in the military. It was Veterans United, who was the the land. We know how that go, and it we was right at closing, and so what happened was the girl, there was a breakup, so a lot of the funding and help to get this closed was the girlfriend. Um,
Mm.
and so, so they knew a while back. When I say a while back, at least 2 weeks before we were to close, that there were some issues happening. So when I called the lender, they told me that they will get back with me. So I had to call them. I had to keep calling, and when I say keep calling, every other day, because the closing table was it. We was fast approaching it. So it was the lender at the end of the day that kind of dropped the ball, because they knew that we were running into a situation. That sale was saved because my sellers were purchasing a home in Florida. So they had the funding, more concession to put towards getting this transaction closed. So, it's, to me, it's being a team. You stay in communication, you stay, transparent and honest with what's going on, so that some type of solution can be made to get the transaction closed, because it can happen. Issues happen all
Yeah,
throughout from beginning to end, but communication and being transparent is very important from all
absolutely.
sides. So,
I
and to
agree.
tag on to what Yolanda said, is there's so many different players when it comes to real estate transactions. It's not just the real estate agent and the mortgage lender. You got
Mhm.
title companies, you got home inspections, you have appraisals, and all of those are very important pieces. I had an experience with a title company on a sale where they dropped the ball big time, and they did not send the check off to pay off the seller's mortgage.
Sure.
Yeah. So
I had
that
that too.
is a big, big deal. And the seller was coming up on 30 days. And if that mortgage company didn't call and say, hey, where's your payment? Then they would have been 30 days late.
Mm,
Mm.
mm, mm.
So everybody has to communicate. I mean, I done already closed the deal, and I'm working now to figure out why his mortgage wasn't paid off.
So even as a real estate agent, we're not just with you throughout the process. Sometimes after we close the deal, we still got to help you, with things.
Yeah.
So communication
Wow.
from every part.
Go ahead, Tiffany. I know you had something you wanted to say.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I agree with both you ladies. It is a lot of moving parts throughout a transaction, and no transaction is the same. So as long as I've been in real estate, I guarantee you, and we all can attest that there are no two transactions that are the same. But to the person's question, they said what would stop the closing after they'd already been pre-approved and they get to the closing
Mm-hmm.
table. I think it's all about us truly having that transparent conversation and complete honesty, like upfront expectations. Like, don't do anything. Don't Once you get this pre-approval, don't touch a penny. Don't take nothing out your 401k. Don't spend a credit card. Don't buy a house. Do buy a house. Do buy a house. Don't buy a car. Don't buy a car. Don't do anything. I think we have to, of course, hold ourselves accountable for making sure that the buyer knows the expectations going into this. So they know once they get that pre-approval, anything that changes between the pre-approval to the closing table can drastically change that pre-approval. Whether it can be the difference between whether you're approved or not.
And don't switch jobs. I don't know if you said that too, because I've had that. You
Yeah.
switch jobs in
Anything,
the
like
middle.
literally, yes, I've
Don't
seen
do
it happen.
nothing.
So
Like
yeah,
Tiffany said.
literally anything can have an effect. And buyers need to know and understand once you get that pre-approval, don't do anything else. Like, just do nothing. Hold it,
Also,
enjoy it, purchase the house, and bam.
Yep. You're right.
also large sums of money coming into your bank account that are unusual. The lenders will look at that like, where
Oh
that
yeah.
$5,000 come from? Where that
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
$1,000 come
Again,
from? That ain't your paycheck. What's going
Yeah.
on? You hustling?
Yeah.
Bricks.
Yeah.
yeah,
You're
again,
right.
goes back to that
El
transparent
Chapo done dropped some
conversation up
money in
front.
on a new deck. El Chapo getting
Expectations.
them a new
What do we
deck,
expect
man.
from our buyers?
You're right. You're right.
Yeah, they
Mm,
need to know what they can and can't do.
yeah.
So yeah, that's it. They need to know up front what you can and cannot do. And that mattress money, what we call it, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you
Leave
gonna
it
have to
there.
account for that.
Yeah.
You gonna have to account for
Leave
that.
it there. Don't let
De-
nobody know you got it.
decorate the house with that mattress money, man. All right,
Exactly.
Yeah.
all right, so I do got another one. It say they say what renovations actually boost resale value here, and no, don't say granite countertops.
Kitchen and bathroom, though. I
Yep.
mean,
Yep.
Yeah.
kitchen and
I
bathroom.
think,
That's
yeah,
Kitchen and
kitchen and
bathroom
bathroom.
sells a
Kitchen and
house.
bathroom. They sells it every
Yes.
time. The first thing people want when we show in the house, they look at their kitchen, they look at their
In that
bathroom.
bathroom, yep.
Everything else is just floor and walls. Every other room
hmm
is just the floor and the walls that can be easily changed. It's going to be the renovations that you do to the kitchen and to the bathroom. Even
Or
if
an
you decide to
addition.
just yeah, even if you paint your kitchen cabinets white, people want to see that difference. So
Yep.
Yeah.
Somebody asked this, and I don't think y'all really. They say, how do short-term rental regulations vary between Virginia Beach and Norfolk? That's one of my South Side viewers, I guess. Um, I just asked the question.
I'm gonna step back on this one. I don't do the rental
Yeah.
department, so I'm
Yeah.
gonna I'm gonna stay in my lane on this question.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
You got
don't.
anything, Brandon? I mean,
No.
from my experiences, it's going to be based off neighborhoods, right? If you trying
Yeah.
to do a short-term rental in a traditional residential neighborhood, you might have some issues, with the HOA or just the neighbors. Versus Virginia Beach, you're more likely to have a short-term rental because it's a more considered a tourist area. So it just depends. A lot of people, hide in between the guidelines with a short-term rental. So it's not too prevalent where you're going to have a lot of issues unless you are like in the HOA or you really got people in your neighborhood checking for you.
Also, from what I
People like to
understand, is that
maintain their neighborhood feel, man. It's just that simple. You don't want a lot of in and out traffic. They feel like that takes away from what they're paying for. So you got some neighborhood police who are definitely going to report that. Like when we talk about that gold mine piece, sometimes that peace of mind is like gold for those people. And when they got a lot of in and out traffic, you messing with their peace.
True. Kevin, you was about to say something. Go ahead.
Yeah, they say also with short-term rentals, you can't have but a certain amount of them in a certain radius of the neighborhoods anyway. So
Mm.
it's like a 5 mile radius or something like that. So they're trying to put a limit to it for the most part, as far as how many you can have in that actual neighborhood.
And some neighborhoods don't even allow short-term rentals because of the HOA guidelines and rules. So,
Yeah,
That's one of those due diligence questions. So if you're doing it,
yep,
you better do your homework.
before you purchase, unless you're
Yeah.
just gonna make it a regular rental property.
All right. So I hope that answered your question. Whoever that was that sent me that. Let's get this question right here on the screen. Good question. So say like, what's the main thing that discourages people from buying a house?
Maintenance.
Not knowing. Not knowing what
yep,
they can
Significant
do.
maintenance.
Just being too afraid to ask the real questions. They listening to what their friend, cousin, mama, brother used to tell them when they did 10 years ago. Um,
yep,
you know, whatever
I,
anxieties, whatever traumas they have about being told no in life,
yep.
just
Embarrassed, don't
rejecting
want
it.
people in their
Yeah.
financial business.
Mm-hmm.
that part.
It's them. The short answer is
Yeah,
them.
Yep,
Yeah,
pretty
yeah,
much.
yeah. Or
Pretty
I
much.
also think what um I can't. Y'all look small on the screen. I can't see the name.
Blow it up a little bit.
I want to say names, but I I'm thinking, what other people would think. They're worried about what
yep,
other people would think. Um, and it stops them. Like I mentioned, social media. Um, a lot of us portray a different image of what we
yep,
think people want to see. We have all this money, see this what we doing, we going on all these trips, and but we building up debt. And so and that's the truth for a lot of folks. And so it's like, if I sit down with a realtor that may know me, or
uh-huh,
because a lot of us know each other around this area,
Hmm.
they're going to see the real me. And that's okay. We are here to be of resource, to provide help, to get you to buy a home. It's not about what money, how much money you have. If you don't have enough, okay, let's work out, because someone said that early on, let's work out a plan. I think was it Brandon? I can't see.
Don't worry about the
I'm trying
names.
to
Don't
see
worry about the
the
names.
name.
Yeah.
Okay, so like one of the gentlemen said up here earlier, 5-year plan. Work
yep,
towards it. Don't this microwave, type of
Overnight.
mentality with you thinking you got to have it now because it comes across your mind, is not reality. If you have to plan for it, do that. It's okay. So I really believe it's the fear of what other people are going to think that
yep.
holds many people back. Oh, I
Yeah.
told everybody I was going to get this 4-bedroom. I'm sitting up in here. What? This all I can get?
Then half the time listening to
Who
people who ain't
cares?
bought a house, ain't trying to buy a
And,
house, ain't thought
and
about buying a
that
house.
part,
Bingo.
that part, that
That's the biggest thing.
is,
Yeah. That's the biggest thing
Yeah.
They
there.
going off of what they heard.
Yep.
And
Hmm.
I've heard people talk about the convenience of being able to call the maintenance man versus resolving the issue in your home yourself. Like, you know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
That
But
toilet backup,
that's
you could just
because
The
call the
people.
maintenance man.
But
Yeah.
that's
and
like
the
we said
simple,
earlier. People not budgeting for that.
yep,
Yeah.
So no, I
Yeah.
mean, so
hmm
the maintenance part of it, I mean, they don't expect it. They want everything to be brand new when they buy the house, when that's not going to be the case. I can tell you,
Mhm.
what I'm saying, for myself, when I first bought my house, within the first 6 months, my AC went out.
I experienced that too.
and that happens even in new builds. Like we
Mm-hmm.
got a new build, and you think the wash machine brand spanking new, it's gonna last. We got to buy a wash machine a year in.
Yes.
Mm.
Oh
But you
Lord.
plan for stuff like that. You save for stuff like that. You
Yeah.
get warranties so that
Couple
you
days of
don't have to
rental. Yep.
necessarily come out of pocket with so much.
Too much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see,
And then
Angela,
like
I
a
was
quick,
gonna talk about.
yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I was gonna talk about that
Mm-hmm.
for most, if you use the home warranty, as it should be, it is no different than calling the maintenance man.
Yeah.
You pay the service fee. You pay the service fee for them to come out for whatever it may be. But there's a solution to that. Some people worry like, oh, it's gonna be too much. I'm gonna have to fix this and fix this. No, you don't. Make
Mm-hmm.
sure you get the home warranty. Again, budget for it, right? Make sure it's inside your budget. Because of course you got to pay that yearly, or some people pay it monthly. But
Mm-hmm.
either way, make sure it's in there. You definitely anything you need to get fixed, home warranty. Called them
Yeah.
about my
And
pipes the
do
other
your
day.
homework.
Toilet was
Yep.
running.
Yep.
And
Do
I
your
Home
Yep.
homework on your
warranty.
home
And
warranty.
even when you
From
get that
my
home warranty, do your research.
Yep.
Get
Make sure you
a
got a good
when
one.
make sure you got a good one, and then talk to them, have a conversation. If this happens, how much would I, and start putting money towards a fund,
Mhm.
a sinking
Yep.
fund towards
To be prepared.
anything that could, to be prepared.
and
It,
I'll
you
say
know,
this real quick, right? The
yeah.
biggest thing that I've seen that discourage people is they have to change their behaviors.
Yep.
You can't fake this into this. So now you got a budget for the unexpected. Now you got to
Mm,
work on your credit over time, and it's just not going to happen. So if you
mm,
are
Mhm.
ready now, you still got to keep it where you're at. If you're not ready, you got to do some different
Mhm.
behaviors to get ready. And I've talked to thousands of clients that
Ju-
take 6 months, their credit could be where it want to be, but 6 months later, they still doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest discouragement is I have to change my behavior.
mhm.
Yep. It's a commitment and lifestyle change.
Yeah.
That's true.
Mhm.
And sometimes that's hard for people.
So they say, what's one document in the closing packet should a buyers read line by line?
Your loan estimate or your closing disclosure is pretty much the
Closing
same thing.
statement.
loan
Yep.
estimate, closing statement, and the amortization statement, so you can know how you can pay your mortgage off early if you know
Your
how it's amortized.
and your deed, make sure it's spelled correctly, it's deeded to you correctly, all that good stuff.
That answer, listen, man, they giving it to y'all. Y'all ask and they coming with it. So, what's one local? It say what's one local down payment assistance program that exists that most buyers don't know about? I'm bringing the question.
I'm gonna jump out there, and it's
Okay, let
been
me get
talked
you.
about. Can you hear me? Can y'all hear
Hmm.
Yeah,
me?
we can hear you.
Is it me
We hear
Yeah,
you.
breaking up?
nah, you
Okay.
good.
I can hear you.
We can't see you no more. We can hear you.
Yeah, we don't see you, but we hear you.
Well, good. As long as you can hear me, that's all that matters. I would say the Family Self Sufficiency Program. I don't know if people are familiar with that one, but that is a down payment and closing cost assistance where they put money aside for you over time. And you just have to sign up for the program and do what you're supposed to do, within it. Of course, always read the fine print in the different programs. But that's one is through Section 8 and
Yeah.
redevelopment and housing.
Yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I'm
And
gonna tell you
people,
I
this.
have a
Oh, go ahead.
client that's actually working towards buying a home through that program.
Okay. I
go
just
ahead,
want to
T.
do my little, lender grant for the down payment assistance and grants, right? And I tell everybody like this: you have to understand that you do have to qualify for these programs. Just because you're a
Mhm.
first time home buyer, it
Yeah.
doesn't automatically allow you to get these programs. Like Newport News does have a $25,000 program that you get grant funds, but however, you got to meet certain criteria, such as a debt to income ratio has to be a certain. Your income can't be over a certain amount. All of these things,
Mhm.
I have not ran into a true grant. And what I mean a true grant is that we're not going to charge you a higher interest rate that did not require you to have a income restriction on it. And I don't care if you're a teacher, firefighter, police officer, whatever. But when you're dealing with these grants, allow the lender to explain the options to you. Just because you're a first time home buyer, you don't get a magical pot of gold. You still have to qualify for this stuff.
Mhm.
Like Virginia Housing has a 620 credit score. In order to get their grant, you got to have over a 640. So it is different things. And a lot of people feel like, oh, I'm first time home buyer, give me this grant. Where's my grant? But I'm like, well, you make $85,000 and it's just you in the house. They're not giving that money out to you. You're over the income limit. Now we can get you
Mhm.
some down payment assistance, but it's going to come with a cost. You're going to have a higher interest rate. But if this is what you need to do, then we have to just plan ahead. We could have a 5-year plan to get you up out of that high interest rate loan within the next 12 months or so. So just be patient with any lender that you work with, whether it's me, Steve, Joe, whoever it is. Allow us to explain the options to you. You don't automatically get this just because you're a black woman in America. It don't work like that.
Mhm.
It has overlays and restrictions.
Yeah.
Damn, that's big.
Thank you, T.
So
That was
Yeah.
good.
That's how you
I
answer
wanted
that.
I wanted to expand
That
on
was
that
some
real
good
quick.
food right there.
I want to
Go
expand on
ahead.
that real quick. Um, this like a lot of the stuff is like Trojan horse. Like they lead you in and make you believe it's something that it's not. And we talked about mindset and getting us to shift our mindsets as people. I'm gonna be like not hated. I'm gonna be hated with this comment, but the mindset has to shift from that get something for nothing mentality because they dressing it up and you are paying big time, but you don't know it. So with something as transgenerational as we're talking about as a home, something that could set your family up forever, we have to change our mindset about like how we're going to go get it. What are we willing to do? How are we want to willing to change our lifestyle, change all of these things in order to get it because it's that significant. But the vast majority of us are being sold these dreams with this propaganda out here, like, oh, free this, free that, and being distracted. And it's taking us off of our own ability to generate what we need to get what we want because we're remaining dependent on this system. And I digress, but that keeps us in this perpetual cycle of depending on them. We got to change our
Exactly.
mindset, start putting our coins away, team up, like we said in the beginning, find a family member, do what we got to do to actually get into the properties because the values are going to continue to rise and we're going to keep missing the bus because we are choosing our comfort over everything else.
And we don't want to
And,
team up. That's the main part.
and also, like, read about them grants that you're applying for, because some of them have stipulations like you got to stay there for 10 years. You don't know if you want to live there for 10 years or not. So
And if you
make
move,
sure
they
you
will
got
come and get
all
the
the
money back.
information about them grants.
And I'm
That's
gonna give
good.
it to you too, because I'm be like, hey, that's what it says, you
Yep.
know. And I tell people all the time, not being funny, but we're when you go through those grant programs and stuff and down payment system, you kind of come into the same price range as everybody else that's going through the program. So now is you and 80 other people looking at the 8 houses that are for 250, for 260, and you're getting outbid and you wonder why you're not going under contract. Yeah, you got approved for the grant, but now you and 80 other people is, and you're looking for the same 8 houses. So it can limit your purchasing power as well. I digress.
Mhm.
Mm, mm,
Mhm.
mm. Somebody,
Come on,
okay.
Rob. Go ahead, Rob.
I'm, yeah. Listen, from you last time. I'm looking at the time. I was like, I'm gonna get one more question. And I ain't want to keep you long, so I'm gonna just keep it like, all right. Since we got the realtors, agents on, and what you say, you're a lender, loan or
Yes,
whatever.
sir.
So, what's one
Hmm.
of the biggest myths about y'all job? I ain't gonna just say about the real
That we
estate
make a
agent.
lot of money.
We rich. We filthy
We
rich.
rich.
That we don't do no work
That we rich and we
we,
and
don't
all
do
we
no
do is
work.
show
And
up
we
we
to
don't
don't
do
do
open
no
no
work.
work.
doors.
We rich. We lazy.
All we do is
Uh-huh.
open doors.
Ooh,
Man, they
That's
work
it.
a
That's
mess out
all.
of y'all. I can believe.
yes. So
What?
when you're looking at a
What?
realtor or real estate agent, we are a business in ourselves. And what I mean by that is we wear multiple hats. And a lot of us
Hmm.
don't know because nobody's really breaking down the business to us. And we have the skill set of, delivering on a product, but we'll deliver and we think that the title is all encompassing, but we have to break down the roles. Your buyer's agent, your listing agent, your admin, you're your own CEO, you're your COO, you're your CFO, you're your transaction coordinator, you're marketing, you
Your
are
Hmm.
all of these
therapist.
jobs. And when you have a corporation, a
Showing
business
assistant.
that has all of those jobs, that pay gets cut down to all of these roles. So that whatever that $8, $9, $10,000 commission check has been broken down between 10 different jobs. You are one person working 10 jobs, and people going to look at you and not believe that you, like we said, that you're not doing your job. How did they find you? Oh, your marketing team, which is me. Oh, who completed this transaction? Who's negotiating? Who's going out and talking to your vendors? Like, you have so much coordination and operations going on, and we're not aware of it. And this is where we play ourselves. DJ, you've been saying this the whole call, and I'm gonna check you because I'm your brother, bro. You have been doing this for a year. The moment you committed to it makes you an expert in your own right. Where that? Somebody who doesn't
Appreciate
do
it,
your
brother.
job every day, they can't tell you about what you done. You feel me? So you gotta wear that. Let this be the last time we talk about you, baby, anything, bro. You know
Got
what I
it.
mean? No, you gotta wear that on it, man.
Yes, sir.
We
Yes,
all
sir.
do, and we gotta speak life into each other like that because and nobody else gonna give it to us like that.
That's right.
So for anybody that got a big misconception about our job, no, we work. We are working, and when we're not working, we unemployed. We got some highs and lows, some ebbs and flows that people
That's
don't
it,
see. We
flows.
walk around with a smile. No, we definitely stepping out on faith. We got to get some strategies together. I believe in community and working. There's some things that I want to talk about amongst all of us, and I'll reach out to each and every one of y'all and preach what I see and how we need to move going forward because it's time. I think we long overdue, and there's too much information that's to be shared between all of us. But we have this scarcity mindset, which means like, oh, it's not enough to go around. What I just told you guys, that's prime
Oh, it's
information. I
plenty.
don't think people know how to process it, but it's coming. And even with my resource, I can't work all the deals. I don't want to work all of the deals. I want to put people in position so that you can stand up on your own and be that expert, and you can hold your own when you're in a room, so that they can vibe with you and want to have that initial consultation with you. And if I see any of y'all in a room winning or any of y'all posting or closing, that's a win for me too. But that's how my mind works, and I think we all need to start getting there.
I like that. So
Yeah, I
from the
like. Yeah,
lending, oh,
absolutely. Oh, go ahead.
I'll say this: the biggest myth from the lending perspective is that your profile is going to be totally different with another lender. It's like, well, you got a 650 over here, you're going to have a 650 over there, and everybody's looking for a yes, no matter what. I had a client that I was working with. I told her what it was, and she said, I'm gonna go with the other lady. And she wound up going from paying 3.5% down with me to 10%, 15% to close on the deal. And I'm like, girl, you could just listen to what I told you from the beginning. Now you done depleted all your
She
assets
stayed with
trying to
them.
get this out. She was so far in, it was like two
Oh,
weeks
okay.
before closing. And I
Oh,
like, see,
okay.
we playing from the same playlist. We got the same
Mhm.
playlist. It ain't too much different. Now you may have outside the box thinkers, problem solving, that type of thing. That's what you want to look for in a solid lender.
Yeah.
But I know last time, I kept y'all long, so I promise I was gonna stay to an hour today. I know everybody busy, so we hit that hour mark, man. I think we dropped a lot of good information. I still got listen, I had a whole lot of sheets of questions I was gonna get off, but I think we covered a lot of information, man. So I thank y'all. That I didn't get y'all information to tag, but we'll get it on the page somehow to show it. All y'all send me y'all business cards if you like, and I share those. Keep them up on the page. And I'm gonna close it out for the night. We thank everybody for tuning in, and appreciate all our guests coming on. And as I always say, may the wind always be at your back, and the sun always upon your face, and may the wings of destiny carry you aloft to dance with the stars. Until next time, keep listening with pleasure. Thank you.
See
Enjoy.
y'all.
Good
See
night.
y'all.
All
Peace.
right.
Good
Night.
night.